Bonjour, welcome to Miss Lucy's Classic Cajun Culture Cooking. I'm your host, Miss Lucy, and I'm on Avery Island today among these gorgeous Tabasco pepper plants. So you stay with us, Sha. We have an exciting show for you. We'll be right back.
The Louisiana Seafood Board is proud to sponsor Miss Lucy's cooking series. Louisiana cooking is known around the world, and Louisiana's main ingredient? Seafood. We put the same thing into our music that we put into our gumbo. Everything. A Louisiana tour guide is available at www.louisianatravel.com. Louisiana crawfish, an appetizing natural resource.
Years ago, I began collecting recipes. Some were my own, others were my mama's and grandma's, stored away and almost forgotten. Imagine my delight recently at finding this treasure from my past. How precious. Now, I share these recipes and memories with my children and granddaughter. Just another part of my heritage and Miss Lucy's Classic Cajun Culture and Cooking. Whew, I'm so glad you could join me today. This is Tabasco sauce. I hope I have enough to where I'll be able to cook all my dishes with today. But if I don't, I have 2 standby bottles here that'll help me out. But first, I want to show you my visit to Avery Island, Louisiana, where the peppers are grown and where this sizzling sauce comes from. Caps are screwed on. Labels applied. And they are ready for packaging according to their size. These are the baby bottles. Tabasco, worldwide known. Today, I'll be introducing a new Cajun dish with a Mexican twist. So instead of waltzing, I'll be doing the cha-cha. Of course, this is Oyster Nachos. Naturally, you will take some oysters and you coat them real well with cornmeal before frying them in this very hot grease, because you always want your grease to be hot when you throw your seafood in to fry it, and it keeps it from being greasy. I have added some onions in my grease when I started heating it, because when the onions start sizzling, it really tells me that it's hot enough, the oil is hot enough for me to throw my oysters in there. Ooh, I'm being messy today. I guess my meal's going to be real good, because all messy cooks are good cooks. Remember that. So now I can throw some of my oysters in the pot. Start frying. Let me see. Yep, that's going to do it. Let's see. All righty. Very good. See how they just... yes, I can smell it already. And actually, you may question why I have a little jar of vinegar on my set here, on my cabinet. It keeps the frying odor from spreading around. So it kind of absorbs it. Ooh, that's really going to town. Really frying nice. They're going to be really good. And actually, that's what you want your oysters to fry real quick. It doesn't take very long. Now remember, seafood, you must never overcook it. But now I like my oysters crisp. So maybe today I might just go ahead and cook them just a little bit crisper. But for you, you may want to just put them until they're golden brown. So let me see how these are cooking. Yeah, I've seen some turning brown already, golden. All right. Now before I put my fried oysters on these nachos, I'm going to sprinkle some chipotle sauce. Of course, the chipotle sauce is made from the chipotle peppers with some little vinegar added. You can buy the peppers and make your own, but of course I've gotten this wonderful Tabasco chipotle sauce, which I thoroughly enjoy using. It saves me a lot of work. Okay. Very good. You drain your oysters like this. Just put them on top of the nacho. I was introduced to this when I visited my son in Grapevine, Texas. We went to the Half Shell restaurant, and the chef was so nice and gave me his recipe. So I thought I'd share it with you, and of course we thoroughly enjoyed cooking this at home. And it either can be served as an appetizer, or heck, I could make a whole meal out of it, because I love fried oysters. Very good. Well, this is going to really look good, and it's going to taste good. I have one oyster left in here, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put it in the center. Okay, very good. Turn your fire off. Now, to top this off, of course, you're going to have to add your pico de gallo. The only way I can remember how to pronounce it is because it rhymes with bio. So, I mean, you know, us Cajuns have a hard time with anything else but the Cajun dialect. Now, this is chopped up tomatoes real fine, and you just sprinkle this right over your nachos. I'm going to add this in the middle, too. And I just love it. It's just so delicious. It just adds to the flavor. Yeah. Now, you may or you may not want to salty this. It just depends on you. Of course, I never salted mine after. Okay, this is cilantro, which you have chopped up very fine. This adds to the flavor of the dish, and it sticks to your fingers. Yeah, okay. All right, now to top it all, we have our jalapeno peppers. Very good. Just sprinkle them on top. Now you can use as many as you want. It depends how hot you want this. So this is my oysters nacho. Of course, this looks so good, I think I'm just going to eat one now. This is too tempting for me. You know how Cajuns are. They just can't stand the sight of good food. So I'll see how this is going to taste before I go on and fix our next Mexican dish. Very good, Chef. Cajuns like to put a bit of spice in a lot of their dishes, so that's why I'm going to share with you a hot crawfish cornbread recipe today. Of course, my sister-in-law introduced me to this, and she makes the best cornbread. And she said, "Lucy, have you ever eaten crawfish cornbread?" And I said, "No, I haven't," because Mama never cooked cornbread like that. She made cornbread, but actually it was just plain cornbread, and we ate it with syrup or milk or whatever. So today we're going to share a little hot crawfish cornbread. First of all, I need to beat up some eggs, and of course little Edgar is still with me, and he's loving every minute of it, and I really need him. I'm going to whip up some eggs, put it in a big bowl. Okay, thank you, Edgar. Now to this, of course, you add some cream corn. You can add the white or the yellow if you want to, but I like to use the yellow because you haven't, I don't know why, I just like the yellow cream corn. And so, you know, you get set in your old days sometimes. All right, you mix that up real well. Then you add some oil. Mix that up real well too. Okay, this is wonderful as you don't need to put it in a mixer. Of course, you don't want to mix cornbread in a mixer because you have to kind of whip it up by hand. Now, of course, I'm going to add my cheese. This is shredded cheese. You can use the cheddar, is what I like to use. Of course, it's a preference that you have. It's all right. Okay. Then I'm going to add the hot to this. And this is the jalapeno peppers. Of course, you can add as much as you want if you like it hotter, but I wouldn't suggest too many. Chop it up real fine. Okay, mixing that all together. Next, I'm going to add my crawfish tails. Louisiana crawfish, which has been, of course, chopped up coarsely. You don't want to chop it up too fine because you want to show your crawfish, and when you bite into that cornbread, you want to taste that good old crawfish. Louisiana crawfish. Isn't it amazing how you can pull wonderful dishes with just all types of ingredients, and crawfish just enhances this. Now, I guess you could even use shrimp in here. Now, next to this, I'm going to add my cornmeal. Mix that up real well. Okay. This is neat. I love to make cornbread anyway. Mama was a wonderful cornbread maker. Yeah. Let me see, add it all. Okay, now to this I'm going to add some onions, chopped up fine. Okay, that's enough. Alrighty. Okay, and a dab of salt. Oops. And some baking powder. And of course, that'll make your cornbread rise. Okay. Now, look how pretty this is, and once it's baked, it's going to be very tasty. Okay. There goes my pepper sauce. You want to add as much as you want to. That's up to you. Let's see that. Make it out. And this really enhances the flavor. You don't want to add too much, but that Tabasco sauce just enhances the flavor of food. All right. Very good. Okay. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to take my pan, I'm going to pour this into the baking pan. See, your crawfish, they really produce water when you're baking them, so it takes care of your liquid in here. Okay. Boy, the smell from that jalapeno pepper is just wonderful. All right. Okay. Usually I like to let my cornbread kind of stand a few minutes before I bake it, but for time element, I'm just going to go ahead and put it in my oven. Now, okay, very good. So this is our pan of cornbread that I'm going to bake, of course. And while that bakes at 325 for about a half hour, maybe 35 minutes, that's going to give me enough time to fix another wonderful dish for you. Now for one of Mama's favorite recipes. Of course, Mama was such a good cook, and what she liked to cook was her stuffed bell pepper. And I guess the reason she liked to cook that, because it was so easy, you know, you just whipped up your rice dressing and you threw it in your bell peppers, and that was a meal in itself. So I'm going to share the stuffed bell pepper recipe with you today. Of course, first of all, what you have to do is make a rice dressing. And that's what we always had access to, was ground beef, because we had our own beef, and we still do now. My brother still raises the beef at home. Okay, he lives in the house that I was brought up in. So I'm going to brown this ground beef, which is lean ground beef if you want to. I guess you could use the turkey, ground turkey if you would like to, if you're on a diet. But you know, us Cajuns, we never watch what we eat. Well, we should, but anyway, we've got the ground beef already partially cooked, because for time element, it may take a little while. So you add your little oil to the bottom of your pot, and you just put your ground beef in there, and then you brown it, just like this one has been browned. Now to this, I'm going to add some onions and bell pepper and celery, the Trinity, which of course we just can't cook without. Most of the time we use it, and it just enhances the flavor of our food. So I'm going to just let this just kind of keep on browning as I add my other ingredients. Like I said, onions, which has been chopped up fine. Okay. Now, okay, and you hear it sizzling. It's starting to blend in those flavors already. I don't know what I'd do without onions. But Mama always cooked this at home, and like I said, we had company or something coming. She would prepare it beforehand. You can fix these the day before even. I'm adding my bell pepper to this, and you refrigerate them, and then the next day when your company gets there, all you have to do is throw it in the oven and bake it. And you have your complete meal, because you have your bell pepper and you have your meat in there, and your onions and celery, which is your vegetable, and your big bell pepper. Alrighty, so I'm going to add my celery to this. Alright. Smells good. I've thought about, in my cookbook, I've thought about putting the scratch deals like they have perfume things, you know, and getting that put in the cookbook so people could actually smell what I've got in the cookbook. Alright, now this is good. This is cooking all together, and you saute that together, but you don't have to cook it down a lot because you are going to be baking this. Now, next ingredient is going to be our beautiful Louisiana rice, and of course I prefer calling it Zombrecker rice because we raise rice on our farm. I was born and raised on a rice farm and just drove tractors and did all kinds of jobs there and thoroughly enjoyed it. But of course my preference was always the kitchen because it was, well, it was cleaner, I guess. So what I'm going to do is just throw this rice in here. It has already been cooked. Now, what I like to have for my dressings in any way, shape, or form, when I'm cooking it, is that it's got to be cold and refrigerated, because when you add hot rice to make a dish, sometimes when you're baking it, it's going to get mushy. So actually, it's always better to use the cold rice that has been refrigerated. Now, I boil my rice and rinse it out because it takes a lot of the starches out of it. Okay. And of course, being Harry's a diabetic, that always helps. I'm going to season this with a little salt and pepper. Okay. Wonderful Louisiana beef and vegetables and rice mixed together. Now, I'm going to lower this, and I'm going to let this kind of simmer together. And I'm going to show you how I dress my bell peppers. Okay, so you've got these gorgeous bell peppers and you just top them. Take the tops off of them. Don't throw the tops away now. You see the seeds inside? You got to kind of cut this out though. You can get rid of this, but keep your tops. And this is the seeds inside. Sometimes when you have seeds in a bell pepper and you don't take them out, it may give it a bitter taste, and definitely you don't want that. So here's the other top, because there's going to be a purpose for this little cap. Got to put his hat on. Yeah, okay. Take this out with your fingers. Of course, all Cajuns like to use their hands when they're cooking. All right, now these are your gorgeous peppers that I will be stuffing. Okay, now I think my dressing's done now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring the dressing over here. Now, mix it up some more. Oh, I need to add my onion tops. You know, I'm just getting old, I guess. All right, this will put the finishing touch on it. Now, of course, you need those onion tops that have really been chopped up real fine. Okay. Oh, this smells so good. I can't wait to eat them. Okay, then you stuff them. Now, sometimes you can have a shrimp stuffing in here. You can add shrimp. Of course, you know, shrimp really is good with bell pepper. It enhances the flavor of the shrimp. Okay, put it here, stand it up. Now, when you have leftover dressing, don't worry about it, because you can always throw it on the side and you can eat that just as it's tasty. It's not as good as with the bell pepper, but it's really tasty anyway. So keep it and give it to the kids. All right, now we got it. All right, then to the little baking dish, you want to add a dab of water because you don't want your bell pepper to get dry and not cook. To top this, my favorite is this green pepper sauce. Of course, this is really going to enhance the flavor of this. Okay. And I told you, we'll keep them little hats for them bell peppers. Okay, it keeps the rice dressing from drying out. Now I'm going to bake my beautiful bell peppers. Okay. While they bake at 325 for about, I guess, 30 minutes. That's going to give me time to pull all this wonderful meal together and show you what it looks like. Man, Shad, this sure looks good to me. Man, I'm going to start off with that appetizer. Of course, that's a Cajun fried oyster, kind of fixed with a Mexican twist. And gotta have that good old hot crawfish cornbread to go with that. That sure looks good too. And you know, Mama always had her special recipe for that stuffed bell pepper when I went to visit her. That was hers too, though I think she really liked it too. And when I went, she didn't only serve that, she made me my special cantaloupe salad, which Mama couldn't stand the smell of cantaloupe, but boy, when I went, she always had it for me, which this really goes well with this meal, because it kind of takes the hot out of the, you know, out of the dishes. And then, of course, to top this wonderful meal, I am going to have that peanut butter pie. This I learned how to bake when I visited my friend Shirley and Arthur Kimball in Houma, Louisiana. And I told Shirley, I said, Shirley, I just have to have that recipe. So she sent it to me, and that's what I'm going to enjoy today. Of course, these dishes and many more can be prepared with Louisiana products, including Tabasco. I had a great time today on Avery Island, and now I want to share a letter with you from one of my viewers. It says, Dear Miss Lucy, we just wanted to say aloha and to tell you how much we enjoy your show. My husband and I both watch your show, and your recipes never fail to inspire us to give them a try. My favorite show was one with the oysters. Please keep up the good work. Your recipes and the background information about the ingredients is just great. Aloha. Pat Clausen, Maui, Hawaii. Thank you, Pat, for sharing this letter with me. And thank you for joining me today, Chef. See you again soon. Oh, V, you didn't do that. Well, we're going to look at the sun from outside Noah Land. Look. We're gonna do it again. I'm gonna fall.
The Louisiana Seafood Board is proud to sponsor Miss Lucy's cooking series. Louisiana cooking is known around the world, and Louisiana's main ingredient, seafood. We put the same thing into our music that we put into our gumbo. Everything. A Louisiana tour guide is available at www.louisianatravel.com. Louisiana crawfish, an appetizing natural resource.